Okay.
All yours, Chris.
Thank you so much. Okay, good evening, everyone. We're here for the regular council meeting of June 17th. We'll do quick introductions and then we'll jump right into it. We're doing a bit of a share.
You can't understand it.
Yeah, it's in.
Hey, Chris, you're breaking up pretty bad.
And then
All right, hello, everyone. Welcome to the council for June 17th. Start with some introductions. Over on my left, we have Councillor Jason Bodnerchuk. Good evening. Councillor Janine Boulanger.
Good evening.
Councillor Joel Lemoine over on the right.
Hey, wait.
CAO, Mr. Shane Ray.
Hello.
And Assistant CEO Dominic Lemoine. And Tanis, our planner in the back. And I'm Shane Peltier, Deputy Mayor for the Arm of Reach Out. Call a meeting order at 7:05. Item number 2, adopting the agenda. Get a mover. Joanna, a seconder. Councilor Bodnerchuk. Any discussion changes? Good as is. Call for question, all in favor? Item 3, declarations of interest. And then we'll move on to item 4, adoption of minutes from the June 2nd meeting. Council has had a chance to go through that. Get a mover and seconder on those. Janine and Jason. Any discussion, any changes required on that one? Those were good? Yep. Thank you. Call for the question. All in favor? Public hearings. So public hearings, we'll have the proponent come up to the table, sign in. Speak to your project or whatever it is you've got going on, and you'll have 10 minutes to discuss. At that point, we'll ask you to sit back down and we'll ask if there's anyone in favor or against in the room or in favor or against online. And then there may be opportunity for it to go back to the proponent to discuss anything that was brought up for or against. We're gonna start with 611 C9 2026, Don and Valerie Dirksen, 1594 Clock Road.
So they've made application to allow for a garden suite in an agricultural zone. The garden suite is required to be on a chicken and grain farm. This does require conditional use as mentioned. Open it up.
707.
Good evening. Yes, we are looking to establish a second residence on our farm. With the 2 chicken barns, it's alarms going off in management and Dad's getting old. Wanting extra help on the yard, so looking to build a second residence for a son and his wife. The other amounts to be part of our succession plan as well, allows them both to stay on the yard all.
Any questions from council? Okay. That's it, Frank. Okay. Call you up again probably shortly.
Yep.
Anyone who wanted to speak in favor in the house? Is it just Elise and Chris or just Elise now?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anyone wishing to speak against? Okay. Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing at 7:09. Sorry. Yeah, all goes.
Okay, so as mentioned, whereas the garden suite is required for the on-site chicken and grain farm, whereas the owner son and family of the occupiers of the garden suite. Therefore, be resolved, the conditional use is approved with the following conditions. The garden suite applicant shall comply with section 5.5 of the zoning bylaw. Applicant must apply for a variance to vary the size and the use to allow for the basement. And applicant must provide a signed confirmation of the letter accepting the terms of the order as well. And any non-compliance issues may be caused to revoke the conditional use at any time.
Right, open up for discussion.
Mover and second first, sorry.
Sorry.
Jason.
Buttercup, Mr. Long.
I know we discussed in planning about the need for a basement. But I think,
That'll come up next.
okay, with the very.
Variance.
Good on the conditional use?
Yep.
Yeah, call for the question, all in favor? Good. Item 621, B3 2026. Don.
Sorry. Just getting ahead of myself.
Yeah, all good. Don and Valerie Derrickson, 1594 Falk Road.
They are asking to vary the maximum size from 860 square feet to 1900 square feet and to allow the use of a basement in a garden suite in an agricultural zone. Which I know is mentioned require variance.
For somebody asking to make it a permanent residence, the condo he's in now is bigger than a garden suite. And the family was growing, so. That's.
Okay. Any questions for council? Now would be your time.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just curious about the need for the basement, you know, garden suites. And I know this is more of a second year asking for a second residence, but it's not. This is all conditional and variances for that, so trying to get as close as possible to the garden suite as we can. The size is bigger, obviously, but the basement is an addition to, is a variance on that garden suite, so I'm just wondering. Is it absolutely necessary to have the basement, or could you do the crawl space and? Sometimes, you know, a lot of people say basements are the worst thing to have in a flood zone, you know, so I'm just wondering if it was considered and what was the need for it, other than storage.
Well, doubles the size of your house. Right,
Mhm.
you get two levels.
Yeah, and just keeping with the appearance of a garden suite, we wouldn't have an upstairs then, it would just be,
So you
Yeah,
take it
for a
off,
basement.
having a two-story for a basement,
Yeah,
that looks like a
so then
garden
it-
suite, gotcha.
visually would look lower, I guess. But yeah, size and space would be the main issue there.
Anything else from council? Okay, thank you. Anyone wishing to speak in favor? In the room? Anyone wishing to speak against in the room? We'll close the public hearing at 7:12. Council, discussion? Over. All right.
Yeah.
And Jason. Okay. Yeah, you got the same rules as last one?
So again, to vary the maximum size from 860 square feet to 1900 square feet and to allow the use of the basement.
I think it's a growing farm operation, so that comes into play as far as I'm concerned. It'll be a son and family occupying, so it's within the family and future use in 50 years down the road. I assume you all will have to review that it stays within family ownership of that whole property in that farmyard.
Yeah, I think it's great to allow, that we can allow that. It's unfortunate if it wouldn't work out in that.
Motion.
Over question, all in favor? Thank you. Item 622 V4 2026 Pine Spring Homes Inc. 1197 Deja Dancourt, Ile-des-Chênes.
So the applicant has made application to vary the minimum rear distance from 25 feet to 14 feet 7 inches in a rural residential service zone.
Okay,
Open house.
open at 7:14.
Good evening, I'm Andy from Pine Spring Homes. Yeah, we're dealing here with oddly shaped lot, it's kind of triangle and with a jog in there, so. We have a customer that came up with a dream home where they want to start a family and we're seeking or requesting the variance to reduce the setback to 15 feet to allow that house to fit on the property. We believe that the front and the neighborhood will not be impacted, and the back there's a nice tree line buffer that will not impact the back as well for other neighbors. Yeah, we're just seeking for the variance here to be approved.
Any questions from council? Oh, we've got Andy up on the.
Just looking. This thing's picture, there's no back deck or back doors coming out of the. No patio doors coming out the back? Oh, off to the side, behind the garage.
If you look at the property, you see there's part of the property is within the guidelines. And the house, it's just the corner of the house that will
Okay,
be impacted from the setback because of the jog of the property.
I'll get it.
It's just a bit challenging to put a house on this property, but trying our best here.
Yeah, it's an odd. Not even pie shaped lot. Okay,
So I think what you're kind of getting at, Joel, is that in future, if you're gonna put a deck on it, you would stay within that setback on the other side, right?
Right.
You'd have to, if not, you'd have to get a variance again, right?
Correct,
Put a
yeah.
deck anywhere within that, so you'd have to go in that jog.
We understand that.
Okay.
They can't go more than 9 feet to the property line or a variance would be required down the road.
cool, yeah.
Okay.
Anything else, Mike?
Anyone else wishing to speak in favor of before 2026? In the room or online? Anyone wishing to speak against?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which Mr. McDonald will join us today?
Well, there's,
Okay.
Good day. Okay, as you guys know, there, as Shane knows probably the best of it there, we're having severe problems with the ditch behind there. And there's a 10-foot variance is what I was told for the ditch to allow around the property there. And it's not working. So if he builds it 14 feet to the property line, that gives him 4 feet right before it hits the ditch, that doesn't work. And it's gonna slope inwards, it's gonna cut that ditch off completely, and we're gonna have serious problems already. So my concern is there's a big water issue right now. Like I sent you pictures. This whole development was, when I first spotted, they said, nope, you guys were allowing it. Then right after that came, they mowed down an entire row of my trees. So basically the whole side of the property was all mowed down. They went onto my property, built the ditch onto the property. And then I asked the RM what they could do. They said it was up to the developer. So I had to spend a lot of money fighting it, and it was allowed. And then I said there was still gonna be problems because it's just not enough drainage in that area whatsoever. It's this long distance all the way to Habitat Road, and there's no other place to go out. So now we're having problems. For the last 3 years, I've sent pictures. I've had 2 trees fall off because it's holding water. When they cut all the roots, all that basically from the corner of 1197 Habitat, the water builds up about 20 feet in. And then it collects all the way down the crescent, all the way to my next door neighbor's place there. And it sits there, and I've sent pictures in, and RM's done nothing about it. I've lost, like I said, one tree when the owner, the developer had it, fell on my shed. Then the year after when you guys signed off on it, another tree fell on my shop, and I was never reimbursed for any of this stuff. So I had to eat money again because of the water sitting in the spot. Like there's a serious issue there, and it's not being dealt with. And the RM allowed it after I said there was gonna be issues with it in the first place. And they allowed the development, and now you're gonna move a house 14 feet back to the property line. It might be on the jet, but there's water gonna be building up there. As soon as they go and slope that land, it's gonna be coming back the other way. It's gonna have more and more issues for me. Like, this is a serious problem, no one's dealt with it yet, and it's cost me thousands and thousands of dollars, well, the development runs off with money in its pocket. So I don't see how this is fair to even the development, and no one's done, been able to help me with this.
Are those two houses right behind you, Sean? Are they?
Yeah.
Have they been
All three houses are right behind me.
No, I know, but the two that are built already?
Yeah.
Have those been finished landscaped yet?
No, but they have to go deeper. They're gonna bring it up. We looked at the variance, it's 2 inches up. It's only got a 0.15 slope. I talked to an engineer and I talked to two landscapers slash, what are they, the tree guys, arborists there. And they said this will not work at all. They're like, it should be at most 0.4 or more to get grade on grass and stuff like that. They said if it was a concrete all the way back, it would be fine. They said this is not gonna work for you. I also talked to one other fellow there that was part of the it was a retired, it was Gil, he was from what was Gil, he's a water steward there, and he says, no, that's not gonna work either. He said that should be double. It's only a foot all the way along from one end to the other to the drainage there, and you just don't have the clearance for it. It all has to be dropped and moved over. Like, it's not working, and especially if it's this house here, it's gonna put pressure against the rainwater there, as well as push it on my neighbor's property. And I'm like, this has gotta stop at some point in time, like I keep, and if another tree falls, I've already had to trim one down from leaning against my other side of the shop. So this is costing me money time and time again, and no one's helping me at all. This is getting ridiculous. And then if this again allows the house, like I said, it's gonna push more water and block the drainage from going around that corner there. And that's gonna make it worse for me. It's, I just can't allow this. This is getting ridiculous. I shouldn't be spending any money on this development, and yet I keep dumping thousands of dollars because they keep, things like this are happening.
Also mentioned the ditch several times and it's never been to the requirements that it was supposed to be, right? It's like,
Well,
they had the set requirement.
and once they're all done in landscaping, it's supposed to be.
Yeah, but they're bringing it up, like if you look at the markings on there, they're actually bringing it up a couple inches, so that's slowing down the slope of water even more so.
You're at 2215?
Yeah. Like, this is ridiculous, like, I shouldn't have to pay anything for someone else to develop land around me, but yet I'm losing thousands of dollars, like, I have to stop this at some point in time, I'm hemorrhaging.
Yeah.
And no one, I sent emails, I've got a list of emails I sent to the owner, I sent them pictures, and they just keep putting me off. I had Mike come down twice afterwards, several times while this was going on, and nothing's happened. I'm like, it just falls on deaf ears. I don't know what to do. I'm not sure why you guys are causing me so much grief, but it has to end.
It's not falling on deaf ears, Sean, but you can't do a final drain until those two houses, well, this last house gets landscaped.
And that's what I'm saying. It's gonna be worse than what happens.
No, then it goes down to what the proper engineering.
It's going,
We'll be getting cut down to the proper engineering specs.
yeah, but the specs have been marked out, like me and Mike went over it there, and he said it had to come up 2 inches. So now a drainage, you're bringing it up. It's only, like I said, I read the drainage, it's only 0.15. It doesn't work. You need at least 0.3, 0.4 would be ideal, and you don't have it.
Yeah.
So it wasn't properly engineered. I don't know why it was signed off in the first place, saying that that would be a decent drawing.
So if the back is it gonna be a ditch or land drainage system?
It's a swale.
Swell.
You had mentioned concrete swale, something about that.
Well, if it was a concrete swell, then 0.15 would be good, but that would be a long, like that's 250 feet. No one's gonna put concrete 250 feet to make this work properly, right?
Yeah, no, I hear you. It's just, we put a concrete swale or concrete thing up in northern Ground Point about 6 years ago, similar thing happened, and whatever had to be done, we made it work and it cleared it up, but clearly things have to be looked at here. So,
Cause like I said, I have a trace of emails, I've got photos, I've got a lot of, I've had years of researching this afterwards, so if you guys need any information, I have lots of it. I took aerial photos, I have everything up there, that damage it caused. Like I said, I lost all my trees when they mowed them accidentally my property, and when they're supposed to do a bottom ditch of a V shape, instead of cutting it up, moving it over, when they made the mistake of running onto my property, all they did was put the angle straight up, so now it's sitting on a 45, so what happens now is the water actually comes through the trees, around erodes my soil and runs into the ditch. And it's just costing money to rebuild it every year. Like, the slopes have to be proper. They're all 45, flat bottom ditch. That would make sense if it was moved over. It's too close to my property to begin with. It's only about 6 feet over because they basically did it once on my property. Then they just increased the angle on the one side and no one ever fixed it.
So it basically drops right from our property.
Yeah, it's like, it
rather
looks like a
than-
straight drop on one side there, like,
Okay.
it doesn't work. And no one seems to be fixing it. They'll say, oh, it's the homeowner's fault now, so now I'm worried with the homeowners trying to get stuff built.
No, so what happens is it gets landscaped to where it's supposed to be, and then we go and inspect that. And then from there, whatever remediation is needed gets looked after.
Yeah,
But it's never in the first place at the right.
it's never in the right spot. It should have been moved over. So even if they realize, that means they have to cut down closer to the property, and the neighbors don't seem to realize that they have to move this ditch over. They're like, oh, well, this is the way it was, so.
Yeah, we'll follow up with that, because that whole 10 feet should be on their side.
It should, yeah, but so what they did was they just increased the slopes, and I got a 45-degree angle. It just rips the soil as it goes, right?
Okay.
They put some kind of barrier up, but it's slowly eating that away as it comes, and my mud disappears.
No, I know it's been awesome for you, Sean, but we'll get that looked after.
Yeah, but that's what, but if it, like I said, going back to the house there.
Yeah.
With it moved over, it's not gonna work. It's gonna cause even more problems for me. It won't fit. If they should either do the house to the closer to the front, or they should change the house pattern, but that's not gonna work. Like, this is just gonna cost me more money. Not to mention those trees that they're talking about that they can build against, they're gonna be knocking off the trees and killing the roots. I'm gonna lose what few trees I had left on that property due to that side. Not to mention the ditch will be plugged until they're done building this place. So if we get another like how much water we've gotten already, and it comes back, like, who's gonna pay me for when the water goes into my shop? I have thousands of dollars of equipment in there. Like, if it got close to flooding when we had the snow last year, I had to build dike enough to cover it so that it wouldn't run back into the shop and the shed. So when that happens, it runs through, whose fault is that? Because the drainage wasn't done properly in the first place. Right? And so if you put this house in there, I just think it's gonna make it even worse. Look to,
For 1197, so the purpose of this proposal, sorry.
Yeah.
How many feet are we talking about that's touching your yard, just on that?
I wouldn't have a measurement, it was probably about 40 feet. Yeah,
So
it's-
the backyards.
That's 250, 260 feet there, that property there, my property. So it'd be about 30, 40 feet, I think. Rough guess. And my neighbor that's on here, next, his trees are all mowed down from this too, so he's the one that's also gonna be hitting there too, right next to me as well. He had the same problems as I have.
All right, thanks, Sean. Anything else?
That's fine.
Oh, I wanted to say that before, if you guys wanted to leave.
Dino, come on up. Yes, sir. Level 3 written? Sure. Still balancing.
1134?
Okay.
1134. Oh, that's where I live, but that's not the address of the property.
No, I don't.
23.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm opposed to this too. Face it, the lot's a shitty lot. And I guess the developer had to incorporate that angle in order to get the required square footage for acreage in order for his development to pass. But if it's a brand new development, couple of years old, we're already asking for variances on that. I completely disagree with that. If it's a two-story house, like, I don't want this house 10 feet from my property as it is. We talked to the neighbor, Sean and I talked to the neighbor today, and that ditch in the springtime is 10 feet wide and up to 2 feet deep. So if he's gonna be 14 feet away, the ditch is gonna be 4 feet, the water line's gonna be 4 feet from his property. It's crazy. I totally disagree with the variance on this situation. It's a brand new property. It's a brand new development. And it maybe shouldn't have happened that way, or they should have designed it differently, but in order to get your square footage to get you guys to, allow the subdivision to pass, you had to put in that corner that's completely useless to the east, towards, Dote's old house.
Yeah. Yeah. Noted. Why not? Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak against?
I want to speak for a little bit here.
Sure.
Don't down, you know. I'm in here.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I oppose this, for the simple reason is the drainage. We already got too much water coming there, which is going to 1197 Habitat Road. That water is flowing through my yard last spring from that development. I talked to, what's his name there, from
Mike.
RM there, Mike Domain there. And he said, well, the RM is not gonna deal with it anymore. It's gonna be up to the homeowner. And I said, that's not what we were told when they put that in there. They were supposed to have that all graded properly before the houses were being built and had it all done before anything else was going. So now you got his coming up closer to the back. It's put more water, strain, going to my house. And I'm dealing with all this bad water. You know, you know where I live.
Yeah.
You know, I built a ditch to deal with it because I had to, or I'd have been flooded. And why am I doing that? So we gotta straighten that out there. And the second of all, my son lives next door. He goes, no, it's a invasion of privacy having a 20-foot building looking down in your backyard. We live in the country for a reason, not to have that. The other ones that are further back, that actually, I didn't even want that neither, but we got it anyways. But it's just an invasion of privacy, for God's sakes, to have that 10 feet from the property line. Come on, and you know, who thinks that even be considered?
So it's being considered because it's the jog that's making it the 10 feet.
Hey,
It's the jog from Dino's property that's making it 10 feet.
well, if he builds a house right on Sean's property, it's an invasion of privacy, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
That close. But you know that, the property got trees all the way around it, which they cut half of them down in the back there, so now there's no privacy from that. Already, and now they're gonna put a house facing down in his backyard? Come on, that's just not right. That's dead wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. McDonald.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak against?
Oh, no, sorry.
You're changing the scene.
I'll get back there sooner or later.
Is there anything else received for or against?
Cash.
Can I answer the question? Please tell us. The last gentleman and the two previous, I'm just out of curiosity, is there any drainage going to Leclerc behind your road or between you two neighbors that spoke first to Leclerc? No, that's not.
No, well, my house is not, my property's been doing it enforced.
They go with that other.
Yeah, but it's not illegal in there, I did it, so I would comply.
Oh, towards in the back?
Habitat, so 1197 Habitat,
I never-
between that one and 1197
93.
93, yeah. They had.
Yeah, I was just wondering if anything drained.
No, not-
to alleviate a little bit towards
No.
where, no, okay, that's it.
All my water pits, I have a drainage system for all mine, so mine doesn't leave the property, so.
Oh, yeah,
I
okay,
have French drain systems for the whole yard.
okay, just,
Just I don't add any water to the system.
The drainage goes right around the whole development and back to habitat.
yeah,
It's a
and
really
nothing,
long
just,
distance.
it's not, I
Not a very good design.
was on to
Oh,
something,
it's
but
not
forget it.
working.
Okay.
Andy, did you wanna tackle any of those questions or comments?
Sure. Maybe just to correct some of the statements here, that was mentioned, it's a two-story house. This is a bungalow with a basement, so
Yes.
not looking down at any property. And then it was mentioned 10 feet from the property line. We're seeking a reduction of 10 feet. We're still staying away approximately 15 feet from the property line. 14.7 to be exact. And that would only affect that jog that we talked about. I do understand the frustration of the neighbors and the water drainage issue, and it affects them definitely. I do understand that, and I'm definitely not want to make here enemies or anybody worked up. But we're still staying within our property, so the water issue is technically on us. We will have to deal with it. That's how I see it, and yeah, if the water gets close to ours, we will. That's the issue of the homeowner rather than the neighbors. That's how I see it. Building the house 10 feet further in, which we could, it would not require variance, but probably the way I see it, not solve the general issue that you're talking about here. I think so, I'm gonna say,
No, does this house have a basement or is it on a
it
slab?
does have a basement.
And the front, how would it line up with 1201? As is,
It would have the same setbacks in the front and the sides as the bylaw requires,
okay.
stated in the guidelines.
Thank you. Any other questions? Council?
No.
Okay. All right, we'll close at 7:37. I'll get a mover and seconder on that.
Oh,
To the one, seconded Mr. Bonnerchuck. Okay, discussion. You wanna read off first, I guess?
So yeah, just as a reminder, they made an application to vary the minimum rear yard size from 25 feet to 14 feet 7 inches, in a rural residential service zone. And that's why the variance is required, so.
Concerned about the drainage back there with that easement being so close now. I hear their concerns. I would have to agree that this will put stress on the ditch that needs to work to drain that area. It's a bungalow. I believe it could be designed to suit the proper setbacks on the site. The same price per square footage, just a different shape. I know it means going back to the drawing board, but sometimes maybe that should have been looked at first.
Yeah, I thought you did you with the drainage issue. Right, sorry, I didn't say issue so many times, but, yeah, I mean, obviously, it's a very valid concern from, the opposition, and I think, like Councilor Blanchet said, I think this needs to go back to the drawing board and fit it on the property the way it needs to be fitted, and deal with the drainage.
I don't think it's a house construction problem. I don't think we would have had a lengthy discussion if, again, I'm repeating, if it wasn't the drainage issue. I don't know if there's homes or development plans or building plans for 1205 and 1201, but if not, we're gonna revisit this on every build down that road until that drainage is dealt with, and I don't know if we table it until that's, I don't like, it seems to be a developer expense to get it straight right off the hop before building out more, so. Again, not to talk against those against, but if this was just, the drainage was perfect, whatever, we variance, we're closer to the property line, I don't think anybody would care. Unless it was a two-story structure looking right over your yard, but.
It's like right up against, like, you're staring into someone else, might look built there, and against them, right against you, what's that?
Yeah, it's for council to discuss right now. Thank you.
Yeah, I hear you, Joel, but I just, because it's not that the drainage is an issue now, if you look on the site plan they have, they've got that easement. And what is the depth of the easement?
10 feet.
10 feet, so now we got 4 feet, like they said. To me, that's really close, that's structurally scary, even as a homeowner, I wouldn't wanna do it. As a homeowner, I'd be like, okay, no, let's redesign this so that I'm not getting close to that drain.
Anything else from council? Over question, all in favor? Opposed? Thank you. B4 2026 has been defeated. Andy, sorry, I call you by your last name, but I didn't get it. Talk to Pete and Rachel and have them figure out a different plan. And they need to stay away from the easement there. Thank you. Thank you.
You want to give everybody a minute to?
Sure. You guys wanna head up this? Like, you got enough to do on a Wednesday night? All right. 631, right? You're on the same line as mine?
631.
Bylaw for 2026 rezone AL to CG, second reading.
So this is to rezone the land, for the fire hall in Ile des Shane from agricultural to commercial general. So this is the second reading.
Okay, bit of mover. Oh, is that for everyone?
I think there's something wrong.
Hang on, yeah.
The letter, that one letter got pushed into the line. Right.
There it is.
Yeah, no, okay.
Just bump down.
Oh, first.
Any discussion? Any arguments against having a fire hall, new fire hall?
I'm here.
Okay, call for the question, all in favor? Bylaw 4-2026 rezone AL to CG, third reading. Got a mover? Yeah. Over the question, all in favor? Thank you. Perfect. All right. 633 bylaw 5-2026 rezone from AL to RG5 and PR, second reading.
So as mentioned, this is your second reading to bylaw 5-2026, to rezone the land, AL, to RG5 and PR Parks and Rec for future residential development. This is a public hearing for the Oak River Meadows development.
Shane. Thank you.
Yeah.
744. Mover seconder?
After.
Sure. Will the proponent come on up?
Hey, good evening, councilors and administration. My name is Brennan Johnson. I'm a planner at Lamar Planning and Design, joined by Matt Glavin from Terracon Development. We were here last month to present the subdivision proposal. We do have a revised plan that we would like to share. I'm not going to go through the entire presentation again. I'm just going to highlight where there are differences, but if there are any questions that anyone has, we're happy to help. Let's go to the next slide, please. And we can keep going. Just as a reminder, this would be the second phase of the Oak River Meadow neighborhood that is currently under construction south of the existing Ile des Chênes town site. So the initial phase is 71 acres. And if we go to the next slide, you can see the phase 2 planning area, which is an additional 90 acres of land. In total, this site is 161 acres. We'll go next. So the phase 2 application or subdivision that we presented to council on May 20th. We have had additional conversations since then, specifically related to adjacency with the RV park to the south. We've looked into things further. So what we are proposing is additional buffer in order to address some of those concerns that have been raised. By adjusting the lot depths as part of this subdivision and creating a jog in the road, we can accommodate a 30 feet public reserve at that south property line. New homes abutting this public reserve would still be subject to a 20-foot rear yard setback. And then with an existing tree line and a roughly 20-foot setback on the Arrowhead RV property, this would bring the total separation to 70 feet. Previously, the version you would have seen, it relied on the existing tree line and separation, the depth of lots that we were proposing, and how buildings would be configured on site. So this version does introduce additional physical buffer in addition to all of those things. And then to help give additional peace of mind, we would also be still accommodating that rear yard setback. In the architectural guidelines, we're willing to restrict the uses that are built on the back portion of those lots to make sure that there's no accessories buildings. We can include a clause in the development agreement that acknowledges the existing use. It's not something that can be registered on title as land titles. It won't be accepted, but we can include it at the development agreement stage. And there would also be a 6-foot developer fence. So then just a reminder, the phase 2 application includes a number of the land uses, including single family, 2-family, multifamily, parks and paths, lakes and ponds and roads. The numbers that were struck out, this just reflects the additional public reserve that is being proposed today. So you can scroll through a couple of these. Lot sizes, as discussed last time, we're looking at the RG5 zone. The majority of the lots range between 48 and 52 feet. There is an associated conditional use and variance application that will come forward at a later date. These are sample homes for single family, next is 2-family, and then we can scroll through, keep going, keep going. Again, traffic and servicing, we looked into the results look good, it's workable. If there's any questions, we're happy to answer them. Going. The proposed rezoning, as mentioned, it does include RG5 for all of these single family, 2-family, and multifamily. The rezoning application includes the property on the west side of Old 59 as well. And then PR zoning is being sought for all proposed park space. Conditional use and variances will come up at a later date, but they are just intended to help implement these types of uses and are consistent with the design that was included as part of phase 1 of Oak River Meadow to ensure consistency throughout the entire neighborhood. Keep going. As mentioned before, we did undertake a thorough consultation process as part of this project, both phases 1 and 2, a total of 6 different touch points with members of the public. And we can scroll through these ones. We work to address feedback proactively. And then specifically, as mentioned, with the transition of uses at the south of the site, the subject site and the lands around it are all designated for rural center development. For the type of development that would be permitted in a rural center, we do feel that single family is likely the most compatible. We looked at different land uses throughout the various design concepts and iterations, and reached consensus that that would be preferred. We did look at increasing lot depth and those sorts of things. With the additional public reserve being proposed, these lots would end up being a bit shallower, but you would pick up that space from that public reserve. The proposed pathway network was designed to offer potential connections in this area. We heard a preference to not have pathway in this location, so we are not proposing one at this time. Drainage issues can be resolved, and then again, we focused on the buffering and the spacing that would be provided. Happy to answer those questions if there are any. And then lastly, is just the development plan designation, and then lastly would be the supportive policies for this type of development in this location. And then in summary, we feel this is an excellent proposal for Ildershane and the Arm of Reshot, both as applied for initially, and we think with this additional physical buffer, it helps to ensure that sensitive transition in uses to respect the existing use on site, while also allowing for new and expanding housing types and the completion of the Oak River Meadow neighborhood. Great, thank you.
Thanks, Bert. Any questions from the council at this time?
So, backyards are 140 depth, 145 depth to 125. That's 20 feet less. But one of the diagrams said for 30 feet buffer.
Right.
So where's that other 10 feet coming from?
So the depth we were looking at before, the road has shifted slightly as well. We needed to account for the change in depth of the lot and bring everything up to accommodate that physical buffer.
Okay.
I think what you might be referring to is in the original plan, those lot depths were 145 feet.
Mhm.
If you want to go to that slide.
Just go like 3 back there.
Or the original slide that shows where that strip of PR, the adjustment there.
Towards the beginning, sorry. It should be slide 4 maybe. I'm at 5.
There.
You can notice in the right of way, there's that slight kink in the road. So
Oh, that's right. Okay.
everything sort of shifted northerly. So the lots have changed to 125 feet from 145. As well as there's that pickup of that 30-foot buffer.
Out of curiosity, for that strip, when somebody's building or you're developing, is there a fence line running right through the whole south section of the development, or is that for?
We would envision that there would be a fence along the south property line of those lots.
Okay,
Yes.
and back to the home pictures, well, this might be something we can control, like, are we in agreement, there's no 2-story homes there, or that's a whole other discussion, or?
Are you asking for?
I'm kind of looking this way, I don't know if that's a development plan.
That's what we're requesting, yeah.
I was gonna
so
bring
it's all
that up.
bungalows.
Once we get everyone to start, finish talking, but also.
See.
Can that be part of the architectural guidelines is what we're asking for those
For
lots,
those 11 lots.
those 11 lots to be single, or to be single story,
Um,
like the middle picture. Cut out the other picture.
if you could go back to that map. So starting one. So all the way around the corner or up to the corner?
And lots for sure, right?
Take yours 10.
First pie to the,
Yeah.
first pie to the green. 10 lots.
I guess my request would be where the lots are sort of rectangular, if you will. I think we could concede to that where they're sort of the pie lots. They become a little bit more challenging for a bungalow.
As it is.
Because we just, well, it's the same, but it really is very much.
Just well,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the 30-foot buffer. What are your plans for that?
So our proposal is that it would become public reserve. That way it would end up being owned and maintained by the municipality. They would control what happens in it. Having it designated as public reserve would ensure that nothing could be built on it, and be used for public benefit.
So it'd be 100% up to the RM to outfit it as well. With trees, shrubs.
Not necessarily.
No,
That's what I'm asking. That's what I don't want it to be. That's what
I mean, it would have to be incorporated within our landscape drawings, which would be part of all of the public spaces.
Okay,
Understanding that I believe the envision of this area is to not necessarily be an accessible space. I think
right.
we would look at something more of native grasses and low maintenance plantings within this area and have to do that in collaboration with the RM, with our drawings.
And that's all part of the development agreement.
Yep.
Moving forward. Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
and we're happy to work with the
Yeah.
administration on what that space looks like.
Okay.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well. Look good, I heard you took a bit of a.
Oh, yeah. Just a little bit.
Recovering?
Yeah, slowly. I don't have all my vision back though. Ooh, which is.
So I'll be doing this because you can't see that.
That's you. It's cold.
Good evening, members of council. Thank you for the opportunity to speak again this evening. Since the previous public hearing, we remain actively engaged in discussions with administration, council representatives, the developer, landmark planning, provincial planning, and provincial drinking water officials, and other relevant government departments. Our objective has been to work constructively toward a solution that supports residential growth while ensuring long-term compatibility with our existing tourism operation and regulated water infrastructure. That constructive approach continues to guide our participation. Before speaking to our requests, we would ask council to consider whether proceeding with rezoning tonight allows for the most complete and informed decision-making. As council is aware, this file was split into separate approval stages, and the subdivision and road approval application remains deferred while key compatibility and servicing considerations remain under discussion. Several of the matters currently under review could influence the ultimate design of the development itself, including buffering, public reserve allocation, interface treatment, and servicing considerations. For that reason, proceeding with rezoning at this stage may reduce council's practical ability to consider and implement meaningful adjustments later if changes are ultimately required. We suggest that allowing additional time may support a more coordinated and complete review of the overall development framework before final zoning is confirmed. If council chooses to proceed, we respectfully ask that the following matters continue to inform subsequent approvals and development conditions. One of our key requests is for a meaningful transitional buffer between the proposed residential development and our existing operation. We maintain our request for a 50-foot public reserve planted as a dense naturalized forest buffer using Manitoba species with a boreal forest character, together with an 8-foot privacy fence on the residential side. This buffer is intended to create an effective transition between differing land uses, reduce light and noise impacts, provide privacy and visual screening, and contribute to the wellhead and infrastructure protection, while also creating an attractive green space for future residents. We further request that the forested buffer be designed as a continuous, uninterrupted transition along the full northern interface, including both our property boundary and the adjoining residential parcel, to ensure consistent mitigation of noise, light, and visual impacts across the entire edge condition. This continuity is particularly important at that northeast corner where land use transitions converge and where gaps in buffering can result in concentrated spillover effects. Ensuring a complete interface treatment in this area will provide more effective screening and a more consistent transition for all affected properties. This request is informed by expert advice from Dr. Nicola Coper, Dean of the Faculty of Environment and a researcher in environmental impacts associated with anthropogenic noise at the University of Northern British Columbia. Her guidance emphasized that wider, dense, multi-layered vegetated buffers using native species adapted to local conditions tend to perform better than hard barriers or narrower configurations for reducing interface impacts, and that vegetative buffers absorb and diffuse sound more effectively than fencing or limited screening alone. Our proposed 50-foot forested buffer reflects this approach and is intended to operationalize these principles in a practical, site-specific manner. We would also like to clarify that our request is for a minimum 50-foot functional forest buffer. If pedestrian access, maintenance access, trails, or utility corridors are required, we ask that these be accommodated in addition to the buffer rather than reducing its width or planted area, as the effectiveness of the buffer depends on maintaining sufficient width and density to achieve its intended mitigation function. We would also like to address two specific points that have arisen during recent discussions. First, based on our discussions with Dr. Coper, a standard 30-foot residential setback would not provide sufficient space to achieve the type of transitional buffer being discussed once an 8-foot fence or any required servicing, access, or separation elements are accounted for. In practical terms, the remaining planted area would become too narrow to establish a meaningful, dense, multi-layered forest buffer capable of delivering the intended sound absorption, light attenuation, visual screening, and compatibility functions. Second, we do not support counting portions of our existing private tree line toward the developer's buffer obligation. Those trees are located on our property, were established independently of this development, and were never intended to function as a transition space for a new residential neighborhood. More broadly, we believe transition and buffering measures should be provided within the new development itself, rather than relying on neighboring properties to supply land use separation. This approach helps maintain consistency in planning outcomes and avoids setting a precedent where future developments could shift responsibility for compatibility onto existing landowners. For these reasons, we continue to believe that a dedicated 50-foot public reserve forest buffer within the development remains the more appropriate and durable approach. Our objective remains compatibility rather than separation by ensuring that the physical interface is designed to reduce foreseeable impacts at the source. Additionally, we continue to request a formal construction safety and operations management plan within the development agreement. Our concern is not limited to any single past incident, but rather the broader need for predictable operational expectations where major phase construction occurs adjacent to an active tourism business and where construction activity will extend over multiple phases and operators, including future home builders once lots are sold. At present, construction-related impacts remain active. For example, pumping activity is ongoing near our property for extended daily periods, resulting in operational disruption and guest concerns. While current construction activity is still concentrated closer to the initial development areas, we are already experiencing direct impacts at our property line, and we anticipate that these interactions will become more frequent and more significant as the development progresses southward toward our RV park boundary. This illustrates that construction impacts are not confined to the initial developer, but extend throughout the build-out period as different contractors and builders operate on-site over time. In this context, informal or reactive approaches are not sufficient in a setting where people are living and operating businesses in close proximity to ongoing construction activity. We are therefore requesting a clear requirements established in advance for emergency access, construction, traffic coordination, dust and mud control, communication protocols, and accountability measures that apply consistently across all phases and parties involved in the development. We also seek long-term compatibility protections. We understand that one option discussed has been the use of a simple disclosure note or notice on title for future homeowners. While disclosure has value and may help inform purchasers at the time of purchase, our concern is that disclosure alone functions primarily as a point-in-time notification and may not provide durable compatibility framework as ownership changes over time. For that reason, we request a formal restrictive covenants registered on title for all residential lots backing onto the proposed 50-foot buffer zone. The purpose of the covenant would be to formally acknowledge proximity to an established commercial RV park and to establish clear, enduring expectations regarding normal and reasonably anticipated RV park operations. This request reflects the long-term nature of the interface. Over time, the residential lots will be transferred to individual builders and successive homeowners, creating multiple future parties making decisions adjacent to our existing operation. In this context, expectations based solely on disclosure or individual awareness can diminish over time, whereas a covenant registered on title ensures those expectations remain attached to the land itself. A covenant registered on title also provides greater clarity and consistency in interpretation and enforcement over time compared to disclosure-based approaches alone. Our concern is not with any particular future owner. Rather, it is to ensure that compatibility expectations are clear, durable, and consistently understood across future ownership transitions, thereby reducing avoidable conflict between lawful residential enjoyment and lawful commercial tourism operations. In our view, disclosure and compatibility tools can complement one another. However, a restrictive covenant provides a more robust and enduring mechanism to preserve those expectations over time and through changing ownership. Finally, Arrowhead RV Park has operated on this site for over 22 years and has contributed consistently to the local economy and tourism sector. In addition to the specific technical and planning requests outlined above, we request that council formally recognize Arrowhead RV Park as an established tourism asset within the rural municipality of Richa, reflecting its long-standing contribution to the community, local economy, and regional tourism. We remain supportive of thoughtful growth in Ile-des-Chênes. Our requests are intended to ensure that development occurs in a way that protects future residents, existing businesses, and long-term community interests. With appropriate transition measures, operational safeguards, and compatibility tools in place, we believe both uses can successfully coexist. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Please, council, any questions you want to bring up?
I out of curiosity, because drainage seems to be the flavor of tonight, your backyard presently or the north facing, does that drain towards Old 59?
No, it drains into my property.
We actually pump it across. It's, there's like, we call it Lake Terracon. Yeah, when.
John came over.
Yeah, so, the depression that's there creates a lake and then it starts to drain into our property. So rather than letting it drain into our septic tank and everywhere, we just pump it across our driveway and then it drains towards.
To the south.
Yeah, to the south.
To the-
Yeah, but otherwise it doesn't drain, it like drains into our yard, essentially.
I'm just asking them to put up trees or whatever, you know, you don't need that flooded out either, so that's why I was wondering.
Yeah, like they want to put 30 feet. And then we gotta decide what the heck's gonna go in this 30 feet, but then if we put trees, you guys need access. You guys are gonna wanna take another 10 feet of that tree line for access, so that's dropping us down to another 20. Now you're asking me to turn around, or they're asking us to maintain our 20-foot tree line, which is not 20 feet. It's got a 20-foot umbrella of trees. It's one row of trees that have grown outward. Right? And so it's not.
It's not a buffer.
Yeah, well, it's 30 feet. This room is 30 feet. So, you know, like it. And we've had discussion with Terracon, right? Like their boss came, John. You know, we talked about it with him. He was talking about water park coming into the area and it'd be
nice for the kids, and it'd be mutual beneficial for both of us. So far, this whole project has only cost me money. This costs them money to build, but they're recouping their costs. I'm not. You know, they've currently got a pump that's sitting right across our property. They started it, you know, I talked to them, last meeting privately. And they were starting it at 6:30 in the morning. And then again, they're starting it early in the morning from our other clients there. We have directed some of our clients to start writing you guys. Because I mean, we can't be defending Terra Calling the whole bloody time, right? Like this is. It's becoming a major job for us. Just to maintain our clientele. Right, like last year was the pumps and, you know, in the last meeting, they said, oh, this is not gonna happen. The pipes are all in the ground. But we have a pump sitting right running there for 8-9 hours.
It's just a continual, and you know, construction progresses, so there's always gonna be something
right.
that is gonna be there,
Like
always.
this tree line should be established before they even get to us. Like there's nothing for them when they got their landscapers to come in there, move a bit of dirt, plant this row of trees in there and let it sit for 10 years because it's not coming, like, they're not gonna be by us for 14 years. You know, get 10, 14 years, right? Like it's just very aggravating, right?
And also, I should mention, I was in touch with the titles office and they said the restrictive covenant is something that can be done. It's not impossible. It's something that can be done.
I have a question about access to your property and I might be opening a can of worms and, it's just in my head, I'm curious, so. To the south of your park, is Major Trail, it's called on the map, right?
Yeah, it runs from, well, we get into our property from Old 59, it's Major Trail, and it runs southbound on the east side or on the west side of the property, and then it turns, and then it goes, eastbound, and then it stops just past our neighbor's place, and then it's just diversion and mud road and farm access, that kind of stuff, so.
It also looks like there's an old existing connection to the old 59.
Yeah, and we were told by the municipality, in fact, that it's not, it was deleted many years ago. And the reason was it was too close to the bridge, so unsafe. And when the building started, somehow it re-popped up and the barrier was removed. And then
the building of what? Phase one?
No, well,
There used to be a barrier there, and now we currently have construction process with a fence. I guess it's part of a snow fence that's being put up.
yeah, because we had mentioned it to the municipality.
That people were using.
That people were using it as a throwaway because.
And then it's mud.
Yeah, because it had been reopened for some.
Through there and a couple of them hit the bridge. Because those barriers had been removed.
So anyway, so there's barriers there now, so
Like,
they're not
Some permanent.
they're not permanent ones right now.
Terracon was saying that they had requested to put the concrete barriers, those ones that you see on, you know,
Mhm.
and they were just waiting for council to get back to them to put those concrete.
But anyways, yeah, there's still snow fences right now.
I was just curious to see if that could be reopened for your main access to your property, so you're further away from the.
Yeah, it cannot.
Construction, but because of the bridge, I see
Mhm.
the thing, thank you.
So if we put an 8-foot fence on the south side of the buffer,
No, on the north side.
if we put an 8-foot fence on the south side of the buffer,
Mhm.
how many trees are gonna be in the way?
Well, it could kill my tree line and the existing one. And also our side, or the RV park side, from what our discussions with Dr. Coper is that it would just reverberate the sound back into our park. So we're just gonna make noise and it's gonna come back into our park, so it'd make our park noisier. So the fence needs to be on the residential quiet side. And that'll help with blocking the lights, and also it'll help with the buffer, the forest buffer, while it grows, it'll kind of help that situation a little bit as we wait. So Dr. Cooper, yeah, recommended that it be on the residential side and not on the RV park side.
That would be a standard wood fence you're talking about, not a sound absorbing fence.
It would be just, yeah, an 8-foot privacy fence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it for me. Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak?
It's just my consultation. Thanks.
Sure, come on up.
Hey, councilors, my name's James. I'm, vice president of FACAT, which is, Manitoba Campgrounds and Private Parks Association. And I'm here, in support of Arrowhead Campground on, their behalf. Yeah, I just wanted to bring that to attention that I'm really supported, and if you have any questions for me, as I also want on the campground. And spent a long time in construction as well. You had mentioned the noise absorbing fence. So I don't know if you, like areas like Tennyson Common and stuff like that, all it does is deflect sound and stuff like that. So just in discussion, I thought that even a 50-foot barrier and trees would be the best solution for this. The fence on their side would just, if they need to do any tree maintenance and drop those trees, they're probably, you know, if they're poplars or not, they grow 30, 40 feet and then they're done. They need to be maintained. With a bigger buffer zone, then there's room to cut trees. There's lots of room for people just to do their own thing. Whether the municipality needs to make an access path, green zone or anything, more trees the better. Campground to take care of their own trees as well, and there's room for a buffer on the other side as well. I don't know which doctor she was referring to, but it makes a lot of sense that trees are better to look at. They deflect more sound, more light and all that. That's it.
Yeah. Thank you, James.
Thank you.
Any questions from council?
Just for the minutes, we just record whether you're for, against, or just here for information.
Sorry, I'm in support of Arrowhead, so I'm for them, I guess.
Sorry, we're here for the, sort of for the rezoning, so are you for the rezoning, against the rezoning, or just presenting information?
Just presenting.
Okay, thanks. Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to come on up? Anyone new online?
The SAN that was presented, the site map, as part of the rezoning is different than the one that Brendan had presented here. So we consulted with prior to this with, legal counsel, and the recommendation on their part was to provide counsel an adequate time to review would be to adjourn the public hearing right now, and then reschedule it. The next one would be, so we rescheduled to a special meeting on July 7th. We just have to determine the exact time in relation to our meeting that day. So most likely 9 AM. So we would adjourn to 9 AM probably on July the 7th. And then we would address it at that time, and make a decision that allows more time to, be able to do some more research on a couple of the other items, regarding the covenant, that Lisa brought up, along with some insurance issues as well. So we're still trying to seek out answers to that information. And then while we're at it, we would also recommend tabling the subdivision decision. Said that right, didn't I? The subdivision decision that we're about to address a little bit later in the agenda to, regarding this to the same date and time as well. Making a decision on that at this point in time might be a little presumptuous as well. So, yeah, so it's a recommendation from our legal counsel.
Just start, before you close the hearing, to me, just respond to comment A.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And not too much to add, but again, just wanted to thank everyone for the time that's gone into this, all the conversations to date. I think generally we are aligned in terms of finding out what the right buffer is and planting trees and the fence. We foresee all of those things happening too. We haven't quite closed the gap on what that is, but in terms of compatibility, we feel that the plan that we are proposing and presented today, it does address the concerns related to light and privacy and noise and protections for their business to continue operating successfully. We recognize it as really important to Manitoba and to Reshot as well. We also feel that the site is compatible with the development plan and what the land has been designated to be used for. There was a comment just about shifting responsibility. That's not what we're looking to do. We're just recognizing the context that is there. And the existing trees do help to provide some of those protections to the concerns that are being raised. Similarly, for that reason, we would also expect that the fence be on the property boundary of the new lots that are being created rather than on the south side. And then in terms of comments related to coexisting, that's what we're looking for too, that these uses can coexist together. Again, we do feel that this is a compatible development with what exists now. Single family is the lowest intensity use of what would happen in a rural center designation. With these additional protections, we do see that this could coexist and coexist well.
Just one final point. I know, Councillor, you raised a point about drainage. As part of this overall development, we would have to create a whole overall drainage plan. It would have to be approved by the municipality as well as the province to ensure that there wouldn't be any negative impact of drainage within this area.
I was just referring to a natural,
Yeah.
I was curious.
Yeah, of course.
Great. Any other questions from council? Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you. Thank you. We will adjourn this public hearing at 8:21.
To July 7th,
July 7th, 9 a.m.
Thank you, sir.
All right. We may depart if that comes to a wish. Thanks, everyone.
Well, everybody, you heard their feelings when you all leave. You don't want to spend.
I'm passing up slowly.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
So just out of curiosity, from the variance adjourned, not quite.
Correct. Yeah.
So connection of municipalities and.
Where are you from?
Well, actually, you're right down the Arrowhead, but we travel fast, so we just wanted to hear what was on. You know, just looking. They can make the right decision. And Kevin's all, it's been great. And I think she's, maybe that would have changed it if you had time for planning. They have the time to plan. Yeah. Used to work as a planner, so. Yeah. Thank you, thank you. I see you push down road.
That'd be great. Thank you. Take care. Have a
Say,
night.
leave this whole thing up, agree to it, then what? Well, if they do, always like, that's what councils are for. Anyway, well done. Thank you.
Yes. That works. Yeah.
All right.
So, by default, 6.3.4 will be held on July 7th as well.
Finance for information.
So as mentioned, we do have the two batches, 637 and 638. So I'm just gonna set it here. The batch summary was uploaded as usual by Mohammed. Just wanted to make note of a number of items in here regarding our community centers and arenas and parks. We paid out our operating and some of our life cycle, so it was a total of about $163,000 going out to our community centers, halls and parks with this last batch as well. So I wanted to just touch on that. Again, the two batches, batch number 638 was 98,000 and batch 637 for about 687,000. If there's any questions from council, let us know now, or please follow up with us so that we can get you that information down the road as well. Okay.
Looks good. Okay. Are we on that? Okay. All right. 10.1, 4165, 2684, 1285 Brady Road Limited. Why is it Brady Road Limited? Mr. Watt, One Lot Farmstead.
Because it's a business tax mention. So they are making application to subdivide the existing farmstead from the present holdings of 51.76 acres in an agricultural zone. MRPD does recommend approval, with the conditions that are outlined here. The DA, a variance to vary the size, conditional use is obtained for parcel A for single family dwelling, and they must obviously satisfy all provincial requirements if applicable. And the last one is an easement agreement into the shared access to Brady Road from the residual parcel.
Which of you ladies are speaking to this one? All right.
Mover and seconder.
Mover and seconder. Perfect. Any questions?
So I thought there was a driveway issue, something in the future, or
So this is, well, technically there isn't, we had them actually do a fourth parcel, fifth parcel. So there's a separate parcel just for the driveway.
That's parcel.
Or something. That's what it is, yeah. So it's not shared.
But somebody has to maintain it. It's a driveway, it's not a lease or, so, yeah, technically, they have to figure out who's gonna do that.
On property.
I know. Yeah, Mr. Watt.
Yeah. But the solution to put another parallel driveway is ridiculous.
Yeah.
go ahead, not saying.
So the solution is, let's just one up, as much as it hurts us.
Any other questions? No discussion, call for the question, all in favor? Thank you. 10.2, 4165, 2684, Oak River Meadow Inc., 351 lots residential, to be tabled until July 7th, 9 AM.
On the road, but don't call in.
Can I interject? Sorry, just for the zoning bylaw amendment for the revised map that will be required. Our planning, our mapping staff indicate they probably need about 10 days to turn around the changes to the map to accommodate where the public reserve is gonna go. So just wanted to give you that heads up that at least 10 days before that. Reconvening hearing. Yeah, so it's kind of close, yeah, but, anyway. That would be probably.
If we can call in a favor, that'd be great.
You know, Elise always grants favors, so, yeah, it's not nice to agree.
Give me 12 days starting tomorrow.
Yeah, you know, it's a little terrifying.
And
so-
work the weekend.
Yeah, yeah, and lots of overtime, but anyway, that was the estimate, so, okay.
Accept and send you the
Yes.
accept file and,
Yes,
or whatever you need.
yeah,
for your-
that would probably be more efficient.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
So these drawings and colors and stuff come from you and not a developer?
The drive that you saw tonight? Oh, sorry, for Schedule A, yeah, we are planning, staff to provide that service to your municipality,
Okay,
which isn't always the case, but it's,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
cool.
But certainly the developer can provide those to us, yeah.
10.3, 4165, 2684, 96, Barnes and Duncan, not residential.
So the owners, John and Jennifer Weems and Don Millette Weems, as part of the lots 65 and 66, located at 4356 and 4358 Waverly Road. Made application to subdivide two lots from the present holdings of 25.80 acres in an agricultural zone. MRPD does recommend approval, with the following conditions. The variance is obtained for proposed lots 1 and 2 to vary the minimum side width from 200 feet to 65 feet. An easement agreement is prepared, for shared access to Waverly for proposed lots 1 and 2. The agreement is registered by caveats, and they must satisfy any or all provincial requirements.
Did we put those easements on both properties?
I believe so, yes.
It's just one of the properties has an easement, or it's marked as proposed easement, and that's the one that's got the driveway already. Great when, the wings all get together and get along, but one of them moves along in life, and somebody moves there, as we've seen many times, people don't always get along. So we could,
The sure agreement, is registered to both lots and it's prepared by the lawyer for shared access to proposed lots. Said agreement is to be registered by caveat on both lots.
yes,
So we'll just make that slight adjustment.
So what's the point of the northern long skinny strip? Is that not for an eventual proposed driveway parallel, which looks silly, but
it is. And I think when we saw it at MRPD, they actually said that if they had to, they'd put a driveway. But again, that could be a future person's problem to put a driveway in there, but at least the easement's still there for it to go in place.
okay, so that whole double line then easement would be for those two long strips as one?
No, so that's two separate. So basically, proposed lot 1 still has access to Waverly.
Yeah.
It's like when we do a farmstead, we want to make sure, like one of the river lots, we want to make sure that there's road access.
Yeah, to
that.
that.
So it's the same thing. So proposed lot 1 actually comes right down to Waverly Road.
Yeah.
And so does proposed lot 2, but the driveway is in 2.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And so if in 50 years,
Yeah.
there's two people that hate each other.
Yeah.
He's more than welcome to put a driveway.
Okay.
So I guess, yeah. Confused about the easement then. What's the purpose really of the easement?
Because there's no driveway.
But the easement is on where the driveway is right now.
Right.
So you're asking the easement to be on the other
It
side.
to be registered on both.
Why do you need the easements if the driveways are on your property?
For ingress and egress, it is what.
The driveway's only on lot 2. I get that, but there's provisions for lot 1 to have, so the easement, okay, I get it. I have to talk it through. So the easement is to allow the proposed lot 1 to use that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Got it. But I guess I'm asking, why do you want it moved on the other side?
Just so that they're both registered, there's an easement for that driveway.
Oh, I see, okay.
One guy can't tell the other guy to, yeah, go away, so, okay, I get it, okay.
So they play that.
Yes, so the referee.
In 50 years, easements come up. If that was a driveway, right?
Yeah, no need for it, they should place it. Yeah.
Yeah, you still want to be in a chance for 50 years?
That's twice tonight, he said, in 50 years, we're gonna have to relook at this.
Any other discussion on this?
Mover and a second.
Mover and seconder, please. All right, Janine, and go ahead. Call for the question, all in favor? 13.1.1, development agreement, JMB Investments.
So we have the development agreement. It has been reviewed, by both planning and legal counsel. So they've made an application for conditional use, and one of those was a development agreement. The development agreement has been uploaded for council consideration. Is there any questions or comments about it? Straightforward.
Good. Rather, okay, call for the question, all in favor? Again, got a mover and seconder. Because we do it so late in the question, from the previous one, I'm thinking it was on this one.
Joelle and
Jason. Now we shall call for the question, all in favor? Thank you. Scroll down. Other matters is just,
We have the building permit reports.
oh, right. Item 13.12.
Bye.
So the summary has been uploaded for council consideration, just as an FYI. Wait, just let me pull it back up. I gotta figure out how to read this, so I can read it.
So make your window big. And then you just click. That place.
It's like bring your kid to work day.
Click on this.
I shouldn't laugh, that's a challenge, but.
If my prescription does make it increase, yes, I still can't read it. For the record, May 2026 stats, 37 permits, May 2025 was 26 permits.
Yeah.
And total value for 2026 was 6.8 million, and in 2025, total value was 5.5 million, so.
I know it'll be a pain in the butt for staff for the rest of the year, but if we can remove wastewater from that grand total, like you can keep it in the same thing in brackets.
Okay.
So we have a running total of the rest of our stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As $250 million looks great, we just, like, we can pump that number out at the end of the year, but we could, awesome. Never
Maybe
get
we'll
wrong.
do that. We can make that investment.
Thank you. Mover and seconder, please. And section. All in favor to receive that? Thank you. Correspondence, planning matters. Horizon Stars. Item 16, adjournment.
Just before, did we, or are we supposed to, did we motion number 9?
No, just for information. That's the change that we made.
Double check, yeah.
Before we adjourn.
Before we adjourn, council would like to extend our helpful congratulations to all the 2026 grads from St. Norbert Collegiate, Lorette Collegiate, and Collège Régional Gabriel. This is an important milestone and a testament to your hard work, dedication, and perseverance. We wish you continued success and all the very best in your future endeavors. Way to go and good luck going forward. And adjournment at motion 8:37. Motion to adjourn at 8:37.
Could take a minute to read
Do
it.
it quick, so we still have the same thing.
Who's moving it second?
Yeah, I'll move it. Come on, guys.
All in favor?
1 second.
Thank you, everyone. You may stop recording.